Hello, friends and brothers. This is Dennis Yates with Masonic Improvement and our Inner Circle members. We only have three on the show right now tonight. This is the debut um, of the Masonic Improvement uh, change that has recently taken place with Justin Jones stepping down. And so, if anything happens, it's because he left. It's not because I suck as a host. So, but tonight is going to be the Grand Annual Communication Live Roundtable wrap up, um, and I got to tell you, I always love Grand Lodge. Now, this year it was a bittersweet because of uh, Justin announcing him leaving the show. We've known about it for a while, but we hadn't told anybody. But him saying it just made it real at our dinner, and then it kind of put a damper on my grand annual communication. But I'd like to hear about uh, y'all's experience. So tell me what your top three takeaways from the grand annual communication are. Uh, I'll start with Jason since he's first on my little list of people here.
Um, no, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, we're not
Right
gonna
on the
let you
spot.
just we're not gonna let you be a wallflower anymore and just sit in the background and watch everybody
Dang it.
talk. And yes, so you get to talk today.
All right. Well, I think well, first off, the Masonic Improvement Dinner didn't disappoint as it never does. It was a good group of guys together, and a lot of fellowship, seeing some guys that you see online all the time, being able to sit in person, and then it was a good discussion. I won't go into the details. Cone of silence. But yeah, there were some interesting things that were brought up, and but yeah, towards the at the end, Justin announced that he was stepping away, and I he's been doing it for a long time, and the explanation that he gave, just you kind of felt like this was it was probably a good transition for him, and to go out on a successful dinner, I think it's probably a good time. Um, Probably one of the first takeaways um, that I thought about. Um, we were going through all of the resolutions, and it was it was surprising to me how many of the resolutions were being pulled back or delayed to be rewritten because of something that was brought up at Grand Lodge. And I guess to me, it was kind of like I because they always suggest that you submit your resolutions to policy and procedures, to
Jurisprudence
uh, jurisprudence and all that kind of stuff.
or civil law, just
So
depending on who really needs to look at it. Yeah. Okay.
correct.
Sorry.
So to see so many of them having to be either be amended or pulled back, it was surprising to me. I was kind of like, if I were to ever submit one, to me it just seems like I would submit that months and months in advance and try and get it completely worked out before it ever makes it to the floor. Because to me, it seems like once you put that resolution into place, like that should be the finished product. Um, you know.
Can I can
Anyway,
I
that
say
was
something
that was
about that real quick
yeah, yeah. No, go
before
ahead.
because really you're correct, and that's actually what's supposed to take place. They do submit it months before, and then it gets assigned to um, first to whatever committee it needs to go to for that particular resolution, depending on what the body of it is. But it gets assigned to one person of that committee, and depending on that person's workload or how many of those they have to do, say you have a committee of seven members, and each one of them have three of those resolutions that they're trying to get done with the submitters. And a lot of times the submitters don't really put in the best most concise words to get the job done for creating a resolution. And a lot of times that's what's happening is it goes back and forth 10 times before the end result even transpires. I
Yeah.
just wanted to throw that tidbit that is supposed to be the final product and it's supposed to be polished, but yes, sometimes, and this year in particular, there were quite a few of them that were not very polished.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. Um, the second one was, it was great to see. So this would be my second takeaway. It was great to see that the resolution on electioneering passed,
Yes.
to where, because we always have to do this wink, wink, nod, nod. Oh, hey, go talk to this guy because he's really cool. Like, not saying he's running in for anything, and I thought I'm supporting him, but I really like him. All this kind of, you got to kind of dance around it, and everybody has to be careful. And then some people are just so blatant about it and seem to get away with the electioneering, and you're like, well, I'm trying to be careful, and they're over there, So I don't, obviously one resolution is not going to cover every single situation, but at least it put some guidelines out there and put it out there that things like when we hold these forums, these are now in the Constitution says they're okay. Before they were kind of like, yeah, just be careful with them. Now it's like, okay, yeah, there's good. And and to me, it's obvious well, it should be obvious. You don't ever want to get into a situation where you are negative campaigning. Like, don't vote for that guy because he's terrible and he's going to do all these awful things. Or conversely, the whole uh, grifting. Like, well, vote for me and I'll make sure you get on this committee, or you're going to get into this appendant body. You're going to, obviously, we don't want that kind of stuff. And it would be completely inappropriate, but it was good to see at least something put out there to say, okay, you can start talking about, because I think we're doing a disservice when we have to dance around it, because the argument was always you don't get to know who the candidates are because you can't openly talk about them. So you go, unless you know the guy personally, you, you get to a Grand Lodge, and all you see is maybe you read their bio and then you see them on stage for like 2 minutes, and then that's it. You know, I'll get to my third point after you call him Byron, I guess.
Well, why don't we wait? Byron,
Okay.
you can have the floor next for your
Okay.
three.
Well, shoot, I now have to think of a third one. I
Okay,
was
go.
trying to buy myself some
All
time.
right, go ahead. We'll cut it short to two on you because you hit two of the main ones, and I think that everyone would like to say something about those two. Um,
Yeah.
actually, what you got, Byron?
So, what really comes to my mind in that regard, as far as the electioneering bit goes, is we have seen over the last several years, um, and I'm trying to figure out how to say this without getting myself in any trouble.
I'll just say it. You're not going to get in trouble.
If we had,
If you're not
if we
defaming
had the
a
opportunity,
brother's good name, it doesn't matter.
no, I'm not going to defame a brother's good name.
Okay.
So let me say this: had the opportunity for grants. I'm running south, and this is why. And enumerated the reasons why that they were running for the Grand South, um, that might have made it for us in the Grand West. You say, yes, I support this brother's position for being, or no, I do not support this brother's position on being elected to the Grand South. And maybe if we had done that, 8 or 10 or 12 years ago, we could have avoided some of the negative impacts that we have had in the Grand East. Does that make sense? And
Yeah.
I say that now when you're obviously looking for your plug to be able to
Yeah.
listen to what I'm saying. But yeah, I mean, seriously, let's
No, it makes sense.
let's go ahead and say, okay, you want to run for the Great South? You should be able to say why you want
Yeah.
to be in the Grand South. You should be
Mm.
able to say in a forum such as this what it is that is going to be your goal once you reach the Grand East. What do you want to do? What is
Yeah, I
it that
think
you want to see? How do you envision Freemasonry in Texas under your leadership as the most worshipful Grand Master? I feel like that is absolutely appropriate.
I agree. What you got, Josh?
Well, I'm agreeing with Byron. I mean, that should be foremost. I mean, with especially with that resolution passing about electioneering. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, let's just put it in general terms. Whatever election you're voting in, whether it's local, county, state, federal, whatever, the candidates have some type of platform to talk about where they stand and what they want to do, right? So why would we want to have the same thing for the people that are going to run our grand line? That we'd have them be able to stand up and say where their, I'm not going to say alliances, but what they want to accomplish, their goals. My goal, and just like with all of us that are past masters, we had goals when we got to the East. We may not have shared with them, everybody, but if you're going to run the grand line, you should be able to share those ideas with the Grand West to be able to, so everyone knows where you stand. So we know where to vote. I mean, that's just it's common sense.
We've been saying that for years, and I'm glad as well that it has finally come to fruition, because there are people who would do that and get away with it because they had a gold collar on at some point or another, and so they would get away with things, whereas if somebody like us did it, then we would get in trouble. And then I'm really grateful that the portion of social media was scratched from it. When they tried to change that, make that amendment, I'm glad it was voted down. And the reason why, it's not just because I have this social media platform, but you've got to figure when all the brothers all the brothers that are joining right now, the median age is 40. That's when brothers are joining the lodges right now, and they always have, really. They've always joined around 40 years old. That's been the median age of joining. We know that, but the curious thing is that now the 40-year-olds out there, they grew up with social media and playing the video games and stuff like that. That's their main form of communication in a lot of instances, especially people that grew up in the city and stuff like that. A lot of them grew up on social media. So that's a major form of communication today. So if you are going to silence social media, you're silencing the next generation from having a say in what's happening.
And
But
you're not just silencing a few in that instance. if you really look at it, because Texas is predominantly a rural state. Yes, we have within the Texas Triangle that everybody keeps talking about, from San Antonio, Austin, Fort Worth, Dallas, and back down to Houston. That's where absolutely the majority of our population lives. However, if you look at all the rest of this state, there's a ton of it that is outside of that Texas Triangle. And are you really willing to silence all of those votes? The folks that are coming in at 40 years old, and, I'm one of those guys. I came in at 40 years old. Actually, I came in at almost 50 years old. Um, but I came in through one of those rural avenues. And when we dismiss the rural avenue, we are dismissing not just a significant portion of the state's population, but we are dismissing a significant portion of the state's population that are the actual producers of our food, our oil, our wealth. All of those things come predominantly out of those rural areas. The folks that are in the big triangle are not without value, but they are not necessarily in that producing portion of our state's population. And that, frankly, I feel like is where a lot of our people need to be coming from.
Hey,
Well, I
Byron,
don't.
my
I
my digital products are really worthwhile. Okay,
I was
that's all
gonna
I'm gonna say.
say. I was gonna say, and
That's
and
all I'm gonna say.
and I'm gonna
Poke, poke.
and I'm gonna say that that really didn't have to do with what we're talking about the voting. I mean that, but I will say that the digital the business today is a high tech world, and people that live rurally don't do business. They aren't in that high tech world as heavily saturated as people in the bigger cities. And in the bigger cities is where the majority of the growth is in the lodges, and those are facts. And it's not all the inner city lodges, but they're the ones that do have the highest growth population right now are doing that through digital communications. And so the people that are coming in right now, in the bulk of the people coming in right now, uh, they speak the digital language. And I think that if we had social media as part of as a silencing mechanism in that law, it would have hurt us.
No, and I'm not disagreeing with that.
But I think that overall I'm real pleased with that law coming to fruition. What other thing that did you really like about this grand annual communication, Byron?
Well, so part of it that just staying with that
So we're just
electioneering
gonna
one.
stay on
Or
this
no,
one
I'm
the
sorry.
whole time. Okay, I see.
No, I know.
Since you're
The
running the show, Jason. No, just kidding.
Oh, you better shut up and let him talk.
And now that I am the only host, I am going to take that liberty at will with you, Jason.
all right.
No,
Leave
go ahead.
Will
Go ahead.
out. Leave Will out of it. Okay.
Let's just make sure we're all clear. You don't have a gavel here, Dennis.
That's right. But I do
Let
have
me
an
know.
I do have an end stream button. Go
No.
ahead.
Poor Will.
All right. No, it was just
No, actually, I do
with-
care about what y'all are saying. That's why I wanted to bring up these topics. Go ahead.
no, just to staying with the electioneering one. So I guess I wasn't fully paying attention, or the part of the problem was I couldn't read everything on the screen, because when they put up that amendment, I could have sworn it was they wanted to ensure that communication on social media was okay. So initially I was like, well, yeah, I was, because they put it up, but they weren't really clear about where exactly it was supposed to be. Like they didn't fully pull it out. So it was very, very fortunate that especially Kyle Walkus got up there and spoke against it. I was like, all right, well, if he's speaking against this, it must be a bad
You don't want to blindly trust Kyle, but
thing.
in that moment, it was a good idea to do so.
Yeah, because like I said, I could have sworn it was putting it in these are not Masonic offenses to communicate via, and it must have somehow the wording, and I like I said, my eyesight's gotten bad enough that I just they put it up in small print and they put it up real quickly and they just moved on, and I was like, well, I guess it's okay. And then Kyle got on there, was like, this is going to cause absolute chaos. I was like, oh well, no,
The world is going to
I don't,
end. No.
I don't want absolute chaos. So I guess no.
Right, right.
And
Well, I was,
you
if
know,
he hadn't have stood up there and done that, I was going to go up there and say exactly what I just said because of that reason, because we don't need to silence anybody.
No, no.
there was a moment in the deliberation for that particular resolution where someone stood up and said, "What exactly are you saying?" And the response from, I believe it was policies and procedures, was significantly less than clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Chris Ryland that stood up there and said that.
And I'm like, come on, give us an can we please have a yes or no answer?
Well,
Is this or is this not an offense?
now that I read this, I mean, I've read it before we went there, but now that I'm looking, I have the resolution book in my hand. If I remember correctly, they were trying to amend it under B, which was the following shall not be an electioneering violation. Is I think is where they were going with it, but they didn't make it very clear. Is what
Well,
we're saying. I think is what
they had it in that section, but they had it worded as if it was. And so that's why it
Yeah.
was completely unclear as to what their, so
See, I think
where-
I'm
that's
with
where I
Jason.
got.
I
I think
was
that's
keying
where I
off the
got
word
tripped up.
not. I was keying off the word not. I'm like, well, if it's
Right.
not, then that's a
either
good thing.
way,
That the
either
social
way, I
media and
don't
all
want
that will
social
not
media
be.
in there in any way, personally. I don't want Grand Lodge trying to regulate social media. If that were the case, then I could be brought up on charges 6 ways to Sunday tomorrow. And I'm just
Yeah.
not okay with that.
Well, and it was telling that when Carlton Newberry got up there, he basically flat out said he really does not like they've done a lot of work on this. Like, please pass this without any amendments. And so, I mean, I was already kind of leaning towards like if anybody brings up an amendment, it already kind of sounds like it's probably going to be a bad idea. And then, and then when Kyle got up there and he said,
Chaos,
"This is
no.
absolutely atrocious," I was like, "Okay, well."
I like
So
the way
it
you
was good
put
to
that.
see. It was
Well,
good to
see,
see that it got passed without any modifications. Like this is,
and what I would like to see, and it happened a couple of times, but I would like to see the proposer, if they are in agreement with the amendment that's proposed by policies and procedures and all that. Because like Carlton didn't say he was with it one way or the other. So now some of them went up there and said, "Yeah, there's an amendment coming, and I'm in agreement with the amendment." But I would like to see if the original proposer is in agreement with it or not, and I
That's
think that would
who
help a lot.
that's who okay, so in that process, that's who it is that goes up and presents the resolution. No matter what it is, the proposer is the one that has to propose that resolution up on stage. So
Right.
if he goes up there and says I'm putting forth this resolution, there's going to be an amendment and I am in support of it, then you are getting that from the proposer.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But like for Carlton didn't say one way or the other. and then the
Oh,
amendment.
okay.
That's what I'm saying is everyone who proposes it, if there's an amendment, should have the opportunity to go up and say, yes, I'm for it, no, I'm against it. And that didn't
They
happen
they
on every.
they do have that opportunity if they want to, but he had other people to go up there instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it was probably a lot more effective doing it that way anyways, because Kyle held a lot more weight than anybody else because he was the creator of Texas Freemasons. And
The
that's
only
why I was looking at going up there as well, because I was a social media creator.
well, the only thing I would say to that is that the reason we know that Carlton was in agreement with it is because we personally know the relationship between Carlton, Kyle, and Chris Ryland.
Yes.
However, if you're just looking from, because to Josh's point, if you're just looking from the outside and you don't know that relationship, I I knew that Carlton would have agreed with Kyle because I know those two guys know each other and have the same kind of vision oftentimes, stuff like that. However, if I had no idea who these two guys were, then I would say I would be like, wait a minute. So he's speaking against it. Is Carlton still in agreement or not? Does he agree with what this guy is just? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I could see
But
where
either way, it doesn't matter because ultimately, when it comes to an amendment, it's up to Grand Lodge. It's up to
Oh
the
yeah,
Grand West if each individual is for it or against it. It
yeah.
really
No,
doesn't matter what that proposer feels about it, really. So, but I
right.
see what y'all are saying. But all I want is the most clarifying way of figuring out what it says because it's hard to tell sometimes. What I
Yeah.
don't like is when you've got a row 10 guys in a line on a resolution and every one of them go up there and say I'm blah 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 from lodge blah 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 and I am against this because of this, and then the next guy says I'm and he says the exact same reason, and then you get five guys that say the exact same. It's like, dude, that point is given. It doesn't matter that you care or not. Are you just trying to get your name in the book or what?
Yeah.
Well, and
Anyways,
that's probably part of it is guys just trying to get their name in the book. But the point that I would like to raise here is that I feel like it is inappropriate for, okay, let's say Joe Schmo makes a resolution that directly impinges upon jurisprudence. And then jurisprudence obviously gets referred to this particular resolution. And they say nothing until Joe Schmo gets up to propose his resolution. And then jurisprudence out of the blue comes up with an amendment
well,
to
that's
that resolution. He should have, jurisprudence should have gotten with Joe Schmo and said, this would work better if we changed the wording here. And we should not be seeing jurisprudence uh, um,
well, but you will see
policies.
that. You will see that
We should
because
not see those committees. Hang on, let me finish.
well,
We
hurry
should
up,
not
make your
see
point.
those committees making they should not be making a motion for a change to a resolution that was submitted in a timely fashion prior to the grand annual communication.
But that's now here's now
If I'm gonna make it,
I'm gonna butt in now because
okay,
you
go
made
ahead.
your point. But here's the thing is that they don't always agree. So the proposer,
They who?
the policies and procedures. So if they don't agree with what the proposer is going to do, then they have to wait until the proposer gives his, and then they can come in and give their opinion on it afterwards. They cannot tell the proposer that he has to change it. They're not allowed to do that. They're allowed to say if they agree with it or not, and that's after the proposer proposes. They can't They can't force him to change his resolution just because they want him to. They can't do that. So if they're in disagreement, then they're going to come in after the fact and say they disagree, and that's why it's done that way.
And maybe that's a thing that we should make clear in our prayers, that if uh, the the affected policy group or makes the recommendation and the proposer disagrees, then that's a thing.
Right.
I'm sorry, Daniel.
Well, typically there's rules of engagement that are read at the beginning of Grand Lodge. I don't know if they did it this time. I wasn't there. The parliamentarian is supposed to take care of that. I wasn't too keen on that position this year. It wasn't run as well as I've seen people run it in the past few years. Though I do realize this was his first time in a while, so I give him that grace. But I think that some of that has to do with the parliamentarian, because that's their job, is to kind of explain those things originally before all the voting takes place. So you're probably right that probably needed to be done a little bit better in that instance. What you got, Daniel?
I was just going to add, I think our AV team did a great job, right? They did a great job
Yes.
overall.
Yeah,
The one thing I would have liked to see,
I love those little captions.
the one thing I would have liked to see is when they do a proposed resolution or an amendment, here is the exact how this is changing. Here is the full body text, big enough for people to read, because where I was sitting, you couldn't read it. Here is the
And
body
I was
text.
on the second. I was on the first floor for the second day, and I couldn't read
Highlight
anything.
what is changing, because I know they've got 9 million things going on, but that shouldn't be a huge deal, because we should have communicated enough prior to, let's get this in here. This is the proposed change now. Because what happens is you have your handbook there. It's a printed book, right, with all your resolutions. That's great. I can see that. But now we're talking about, a not or a as or a will. And for a lay non-legal person, it's hard to process at that moment. So it's like, am I voting for or am I voting against? What that's the one thing I would say about all of that.
That's a good point. And now that we have our internet committee and our technology committee as specific entities within the Grand Lodge scope, that may be something that they can work on for the future, to where we have, back in the back, there's a monitor back there to where you can see what's going on back behind the Grand Master. You can see a visualization of that. I think that would be fair to ask to have a scanner, and you've got your civil law and your jurisprudence and your purposes and policies rooms right back there behind there as well. And I think it's a fair thing to consider having somebody, or right there at a keyboard, right, typing it out right there, that can add that or send it to the AV team to add it to the screen, like in real time as it's being proposed. Send it over to the AV team in real time.
Dennis, we have to correct you.
What's that?
We now have a committee on technology
Yes.
and a committee on AV.
Oh, okay.
Byron was going the same way I was going, because
So it's not the internet
our minds
committee.
were
Okay.
linking up. However, you want to talk about someone who needs their name on the books, the guy that made the amendment to add information to the committee name? Why did we have to spend an extra 20 minutes to add information?
On what?
Because then it could be the
Okay.
IT committee, Josh. It could
Yeah,
be
exactly.
the IT
That's what it
committee, and-
is.
and that's it. It makes no
The
sense.
resolution was proposed that it was going to change from the Internet Committee to the Committee of Technology.
Yes.
Period, right?
Right.
However, someone had to get up from the floor and make an amendment to that proposal of only a name change. That's all it was.
Oh my
To add
gosh.
information. So now it's the Committee on Information Technology or the Committee on IT.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's crazy. That's well,
And that happened.
I believe it. I
Am
wasn't
I lying?
there during that one, I guess. But
Yeah,
Oh, we were.
but I
And
can
I was
tell
sitting
you
there looking.
I can tell
Hmm.
you that resolution was devised by the people who actually work in those positions, and there's no reason anybody had to go through all that. If it's
Well, that's kind of my thought. The resolution was proposed by the Grand Marshal now, Craig Enderly,
right.
who was in charge of the committee, and it said just make it Committee on Technology. So it's a
Well, the
name
reason
change.
why, yeah, well, it also formalized what the committee's responsibilities were, which hadn't been done before, and that was the big purpose. It wasn't really about the name; it was more about the purpose of the committee, because they needed it formalized, which I agree.
No, I get it. I understand the resolution that
Yeah.
Craig put forward.
But
What
having
I
that
don't understand is
person, yeah,
the guy making an amendment to add information to it. That's just
right.
again someone who needed to have his name on the books, on the record that he stood up
Mhm.
there and made an amendment.
Yep. You know that they have speaking of that, having it on the books. You know, we have those transactions for the Grand Annual Communications that come out, and you know, everything is video recorded now, and they go back and it's transcribed from that recording, um, so that it's all done accurately. I'm curious as to see when they start implementing AI into that process, and what kind of mistakes are going to happen from that. I'm interested to see. I know that it's not happening yet, but I'm curious to see how soon that's going to happen now that AI is becoming more acceptable. All right, so we've pretty much worn that one out.
Yep.
All right, so what's your next one, Byron?
Okay, so I would like to talk about Resolution 17.
Are we talking about resolutions, or are we talking about the things we like about Grand Lodge, which is what we started this off with?
Okay, no, I was not here at the very beginning
Okay,
of the show.
so
So
all right.
when we get to the point where we can talk about individual resolutions, I would like to talk about Resolution 17.
But we had that show. What's resolution 17?
17 is
Qualifications for an officer.
exemptions and certifications and administrative competence for incoming lodge officers.
Okay.
So the argument that that is made
Was that one pulled?
for yeah, it was.
Okay.
No, 17 wasn't pulled, it failed.
It was
No, 17 did not fail. 17 was postponed.
postponed.
Yeah, that's pulled. Yeah,
Yes,
it's
I
pulled.
stand corrected.
What's the
Got it written
difference between tabled and
Same thing.
postponed?
Same thing.
That
They're
is a,
tabling
no, it
they're-
is not.
The same
They're-
words.
They're
It's not-
tabling it to next year. It rolls into next year.
Tabled rolls into next year. Postponed is DOA.
Yeah.
Who stated that? Because I've always known it to go into the next year.
I get to find
So I'm not going to say that it's no good, but I will be very, very surprised if this year's 2026's proposal 17 or resolution 17 shows up on the 2027 list of items to be dealt with. Postponing kills. That's my understanding.
Well, it doesn't kill anything, but it can be delayed indefinitely if they want to. If the person that wrote the resolution pulls it, then it gets pulled. But they can modify it during this year and then represent it next year.
Okay. And
But
if the proposer,
if
who
they
is
did
the
not,
proposer for this? So this is CD Themes and Gary Criswicki. If they choose not to do anything, then I guess it it dies an ignominious death.
Right.
But if they
I don't think that
choose
that's gonna.
to
I don't
work
think
it,
this is gonna go away though.
I don't think it is, because this is
The
the second year in a row this has been proposed.
the
Which
difference
resolution was
too is if it's like pulled or held over, it can affect, like if it's completely voted down, it affects it for a period of time after
3
that,
years.
correct?
3 years.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, 3 years.
Right. So this buys you time instead of getting it voted
Correct.
down.
And that's why.
If you
yes.
pull it or hold it, then it's like, oh, now we can get it in next year still.
Right. But the thing was, with this particular resolution, there was a proposed amendment from policy and procedure that said, hey, let's just strike one portion of this and then vote on it in two separate sections. And I don't remember who it was, and I didn't write it down because I'm a dummy and didn't bring a pen to note who it was that said, hey, let's just propose this till next year. That was the first vote on this particular resolution, and the result of the vote was postpone it, period.
Yeah.
It
but
wasn't
that doesn't. But that
postponed
doesn't.
till next
but
year.
that
It wasn't
doesn't kill it.
postponed till
But
wherever.
that doesn't kill it.
But it does throw the continuation of that resolution back on the proposers. And if the proposers do not do anything with it, then it dies before 2027 grand annual
Which
communication.
resolution is resolution 17?
17. I'm not going to read this whole thing because you don't want me
That's
to.
the one.
And frankly,
that's the
I'm
one
a
on
little drunk.
requiring that past masters have to actually know something before they rejoin the line, which they need
don't
You are
like
to.
that.
correct.
Which they need to, and that's the problem. Is they didn't think that they would have the support that they needed. That's why they held it over, and because when you have one of the committees wanting to take a full section out of the resolution, then it changes the intent of the resolution, and they didn't want to change the intent, which I don't blame them.
And along those same lines, if a past master didn't know the work and could not correctly open and close all 4 lodges, he gets a free pass
Yeah, that shouldn't happen.
on moving back into the east and not knowing how to close and open all 4 lodges. And that's frankly that's a BS position.
That's a travesty. We should never allow that to happen. But
So how do you make it not happen?
we'll just have to make a resolution.
You make past masters show proficiency.
Right.
That's how you make it happen. And as a past master, I'm going to say that's cool.
I think everybody on this panel right now is past master. What you got, Larry?
One of them's not. Dennis over here. I'll raise my hand quietly and say not yet. So.
Oh, golly. Will
Now,
you
but
hurry up
Larry's got
already?
his hand up.
Yeah. What do
Because
you
you're
got,
too
Larry?
tall.
What, is that too small?
There you go. Go for it. What do you got?
I'm from a small lodge, and I don't have a problem. If like Byron said, if they don't know the work, they need to learn it. And the worship master in our lodge has appointed me a counselor for the live program, and that's the other one. If they can't go to the training, which is kind of expensive, we can't. We're kind of poor for a lodge, and I don't think we could pay for it. And I don't think anybody's going to pay for it themselves. Personally, I'm going to go to one, and I'm going to pay for it myself because
what I
I
did.
I just need to know. But the thing about the amendment was to put the past masters back in, and I was against that. I mean, I liked it the way it was. And if the person doesn't have what's the word, pride to get up there and say it right, he's doing himself a disservice and the other brothers. And I hate have to correct worshipful master just barely get out, and it's sad, it's sad. So we need to have people that know not only the worshipful master, but any officer. They need to know their work.
Yes,
I don't.
it all boils down to if someone doesn't know the ritual for their position, and frankly the officers are supposed to know it for all three positions. The three top officers are supposed to know it for all three positions. If they don't know all that work, frankly they don't even know why they're supposed to be doing it. Because if you knew why you were supposed to be doing it, then you would know it's a little more important than joking around with it and messing up and thinking that it's no big deal.
I'm going to speak on the devil's advocate here.
You go right ahead. I'll shoot you down all day long. This is Masonic improvement, not Masonic. Just get by the skin of your ass.
Well, not Masonic
okay.
good enough.
Yeah, this is Masonic good enough. Oh, we got to have an episode called that. I love that, Daniel.
Well,
thank you.
If you ever sat in the East, then you had to be proficient enough to actually do that position. And if you're going back again, and the lodge has is backing you, and you have the lodge support, then you do not need to prove yourself for round 2.
Sean, can I make a strong suggestion here? Let's go back to your initial statement. If you have sat in the East, what did you say after that?
And you have lodge support.
Period. Stop. If the lodge is unwilling to say, you can open and close all 4 lodges, what then?
If you can or can't.
If you cannot,
then you originally had issues the first round.
Well, I'm going to tell you personally, I've traveled to hundreds of lodges throughout Texas and other states. And the lodges that are failing today have been failing for years because they've been accepting mediocrity in their lodges. And it begins with the attitude of proficiency is not important. It begins with the attitude that the ritual isn't that important. You know what? I'm even bad about this. I am a strong believer that ritual is paramount. Otherwise, we would just be another Elks Club, Jason Reichenberg. But otherwise, we would just be some other, animal club out there if we didn't have our ritual. And I'm a strong proponent on knowing that ritual, even though I don't have a certificate. And for years, I've said, well, I know it, so, that's good enough. I am now studying so that I can get a certificate because I want to back up my belief, because I believe that everybody should know the work. If you don't know the work, then what are you doing there? Because if you don't know the work to be able to recite something as simple as opening and closing, then you have no idea what the ritual even means. And if you don't know what the ritual means, then why are you a Freemason?
Yeah.
And I'm not, no, and I want to say, Sean, that's not directed towards you. That's not directed towards you in particular. I'm just saying that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I think in general, right, we have an election process for the East. that is set up where the lodge votes. And I know there are some lodges that they, they're not going to worry about that. Yes, the DDGM should sign off on it. There's enough good old boys who will pass it if they want to, right? But to bring it back to what was great about Grand Lodge, I think for me, 3 of the best things about Grand Lodge was, number 1, getting to see all of y'all's wonderful faces in person,
Yeah.
many of you.
Yes.
Also, Byron, my wife wants me to get mutton chops again because I had them about 20 years ago. And she's like, you got to get those again. Number 2 was, again, at Grand Lodge in the building itself, and then all the activities afterwards as well. Just so much fun. So many great things happening. Number 2 is being able to see the elected officers and see them installed. The way our current Grand Master had everybody in tuxes up there, that brought such an amazing look to our Grand Lodge, right? Like this is how it's done. This is it. Dennis, I'm not going to say Masonic Improvement had a hand in that, but there might have been a little bit, hey, you got to bring the good looks, right? And then number 3, my third favorite thing was getting to not wear a tie to the Masonic Gala, and Dennis calling me out on it directly and saying, hey, you're missing something.
I touched you right there on your.
You sure did. You sure did.
I rubbed your scruff. So
that makes me really happy I didn't go, because frankly, I was going to show up in a thermal t-shirt and blue jeans.
Yeah, you would have been very underdressed for sure.
Yeah.
I would like to say another one of my favorite things is that you brothers went out and visited with all the past DDGMs and past Grandmasters and things like that. And I would like to announce that the oldest apron that was sent to me was sent by Sean Rothberg, and that was with Brother Kirkpatrick. And it was what, 2001?
Oh man,
Really?
Less than that, but I didn't check a picture.
You
So
should.
I'll get it. That's like
Larry, you gotta take pictures, Larry.
Young guys and their
No.
technology, I'm telling you.
checking out. Oh man, I can't believe that.
I'd
That
like
was
to give a round of applause
But
to
that's
Sean
all right.
Rothberg for winning that
Yeah.
contest, and I'm going to be up there in February, and I will bring your apron to you.
Okay, so let me hold on. Well, I guess the contest was during the dinner. Is that when it was announced?
No, it was
No, the
for all
contest
the
was
Grand
for
Lodge.
the entire Grand Lodge.
For all the Inner Circle members only. It was whoever was going to send me a picture of them with the oldest apron.
Oh crap! I guess I get that email because I sat next to a guy that said 1995.
Oh man,
Oh,
yeah.
I actually there's a guy in my lodge. Past when he was DDGM, he was DDGM in 1995, but he did not bring his apron with him.
Yeah. And that happens a lot these days. I mean,
Yeah.
Kohanke
So I
was the
coulda won that
DDGM
contest.
way back when, but he didn't bring
Um,
his apron.
I
And
had a
Dennis,
straight up
Dennis,
ringer.
I'm not going to take that apron.
Oh, I see.
But there is someone
I
at my
see.
lodge.
So guess
that-
what, Larry? You'll get an apron. What were you gonna say?
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah,
There's a-
I was going to give it. I was going to give
Next
it.
time
someone,
I'm
but
going to take pictures because I didn't think I would take a chance. But I thought somebody was like in the 80s, like 1980 something.
Oh
And
wow.
Yeah, but the problem is they're out there running around, and I can't. If you do that, I can't pay attention to the resolutions and this what's going on. I got to
I
hang
understand.
around.
It gets tough. It gets tough.
Yeah, so they're just seeing and be seeing. But hey,
That's
maybe
all
I
right.
need
You
to
got next year. We'll do it again next year. Y'all remind me, and we'll
Well,
do that again next
no.
year because that was fun.
I'm going to go
That
ahead
was
and
fun.
throw out a disqualifier for next year.
What's that? You don't get to make the rules. They're my rules.
Okay, your rules.
This
But
is
I'm
my
going to tell
show.
you,
What's your
if we do this
disqualifier?
again,
Uh-huh.
if you get a picture with J. Lester Taylor
Uh-huh.
from 1974, it's mine.
Nope. In fact, I will look for them just for that.
Who was
The
it
only
that had
reason he
the
didn't
Thank you
Grand
for
Lodge
giving
record?
everybody the heads
He-
up on where to go.
He did not. He did not wear it this year because
Oh,
his lodge gave him one of your cool past master aprons.
Oh, nice, nice.
it looks like it
So
sounds
he
like a
didn't
fish
wear
story.
his DDGM apron on Saturday.
Very cool. Well, Sean, did you say that you're going to gift that apron to someone in the lodge?
Uh, the past master before me who loves skulls, and that was actually
Ah,
his.
yeah.
That was actually his lapel pin. When he was worshipful master, it was the skull with the crossbones on his lapel pin.
Well, then what I'll
That is
do,
super cool, dude.
I don't
Yeah.
have that one here yet. So those
Okay.
are still being made. So I will bring you
Oh.
that one. And
Yeah.
and Larry, I'll give you the runner up.
Yep.
Now, what's that? The
Everybody's
picture?
a winner. I'll give you
Picture
the one that I
song?
have. I'll give you the one that
You
I
get a
have
car
right
and
now.
you get a car.
Right? I
He's
feel like
Oprah.
Oprah. I feel like
No,
He's
I
Oprah.
wanna-
Oprah.
Get a trophy,
I
and you
wanna
get a
ru-
trophy, and you get a trophy.
I want to win it fair and square.
But
Okay, well,
Dennis,
then
let
next
me
year,
know.
it's
Let me
on.
know when you're in Richardson, when you're going to do that, because I'm going to have the previous past master bring his lapel pin to give it to you,
Oh,
Miguel
nice,
Canales.
nice.
Oh, right
Yeah.
on.
Well, I plan on being up there. I hope to have it by then. I plan on being up there
Okay.
in February, on February 20th and 21st. The 20th is the festive board for Hillcrest Lodge, and then
Oh, yeah.
the 21st is the symposium with Mercury Lodge, and
Mhm.
so I'll be up there in Dallas that weekend. So maybe we can make it happen then.
And just a plug on the 21st for Mercury Lodge, Brad Hoff, who's normally on this call, is helping get that together. So if you're in the DFW area within driving distance, that is a most day event, not all day, a most of the day event. Breakfast and lunch is included with the registration. It's only $40. Y'all, this is a great deal
That is
for
a
the
great
price.
deal.
For the price, I know Jason's crying because his just got canceled later on in the year.
And the other
His-
speakers are
but-
freaking awesome. I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
I am, but the other speakers, I can't wait to go
Yeah.
see them.
It's an amazing lineup that's coming up really quick in February.
That
So
same weekend is also the parade in Laredo, so that's where I will be that weekend.
Have fun.
Plan to.
You are such a big boy.
That is a
My
fun
turn.
time. So for you guys that don't know out there in the World Wide Web, the Washington Parade out at Laredo is one of the best events that you could go to. Those Laredo Masons know how to do it. And if you have an opportunity to go out there, you need to make a weekend event of it for sure. Get your hotels early because it is always packed. And there's a lot of Masons there that walk in the parade. If you go there and you have your apron and stuff, you get to walk in the parade. And so you'll have a great time fellowshipping with some of the best Masons in Texas. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that. But it is an awesome experience if you're a Mason, young or old. It's a great experience. But if you're going to be in North Texas, that's where I'm going to be.
Well, we don't like you all that much, so I think we'll all head south.
I don't blame you.
I already paid. I
Come
already
on.
paid for my ticket, Byron. So unfortunately, I'm stuck with
Ruben
Dennis.
Bazan is a great brother, and that's and he's over in Laredo. He's one of my favorite
Yep.
brothers in the world, one of my favorite humans. And when you go down to see him, make sure you rub his coat and say, "Dennis told me this was nice."
You know, it was funny.
Wait,
Last night we
are we talking about Ruben's Bazan's coat?
Yes,
Or are we
Yeah.
talking
he
about
has
who,
a
who
real.
was it that had the
He has a
his
real
who had the
fur coat.
green velvet? Was
Yeah,
that
the
Daniel?
treated coat,
Oh, that's
whatever.
Daniel.
That would be me.
Daniel had the green velvet. It was
Daniel had the green
Yeah, that
velvet.
green coat Daniel had was awesome.
That
yeah.
was schmexy.
What were you gonna
Thank
say,
you.
Josh? Now that we got
Well,
Daniel all embarrassed.
No, so last night when we were at the gala, I was talking to Ruben, and we were sitting there, and we were sitting there go back and forth, and Ruben goes, "You know what my problem is?" I said, "What, Ruben?" He goes, "I don't know how to be mean."
He does.
Like, He's like, I'm like, let me help you out with that, brother. So let me teach you how to be a smart ass every once in a while. So I'll take you under my
Uh-huh.
tutelage. But yeah, that's what he said last night. He goes, I don't know how to be mean to people. I'm
I'm
always
going to tell you
nice.
that Ruben has a very nice life, and it's because Ruben manifests a very nice life. He is one of the
Oh,
nicest people I've ever met in my life.
I mean, when I met him back at OLT back in like 23, and it's like, you know, I don't, I'm gonna brag on him a little bit. So it was 2024. My oldest son Brandon was in the hospital in Laredo because he was there on deployment, and he had appendicitis. So I got a call at 3 o'clock in the morning. Dad, I'm in the hospital. I'm fixing to have surgery. Da 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 da. We hook up and haul ass to Laredo. Got him all situated and everything kind of figured out. He's sedated. Like, all right, we're gonna go eat breakfast because we've been up since 3. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Like, we're gonna get something. So we go, and I happen to see. I go to the restaurant and we sit down, and I just happen to look across the restaurant, and there's Ruben with his family. And so I message him on Facebook. I'm like, "Hey, are you at this restaurant?" And I watch him as he gets the message, and he looks up, and we make contact. He comes over, and he's like, "Hey man, how you doing? How you been?" This, that, that, that. And I told him what's going on. He's like, "Hey, look, you need anything? Brandon needs anything? Holler, I got you." So, "Oh, man, I appreciate it." So then I go, we're getting ready to leave. I said, "Well, bring the bill," and they go, "Ruben already paid for it." Without even saying nothing, he paid the bill. He said, and he walked out. I'm like, that's
Yep.
brotherly love and affection right there at its best.
Yeah,
Like
he's a
without
Mason's
words.
Mason. Yeah,
He is. I can't. You can't speak higher than about Ruben. He's a
right.
great guy.
He is the real deal.
But I have to teach him how to be mean, which is going to be hard for him to do. But we're going to work on it real hard. We're going to work on it real hard, and I'm going to tell him how to say you suck. I don't know if he's going to be able to say it or not.
If he
But
says it, he'll
your
be
coat
laughing.
looks. He's going to be sitting there and go, your coat looks. It looks amazing. I can't help it. I can't say it.
Exactly. So, all right. So we got off track.
Next year, I want to give y'all an update. There will be 2 big resolutions being brought up that
Okay.
are currently in writing
Nice. Can you bring them
about
up
the.
or no?
Is one of
I
them
am
that we
gonna.
can only have 10 resolutions a year, please?
Right.
These are actually already being written up, and they're going to be about changing the petition.
Really?
To the mysteries.
Yeah.
Good. Well, anyways, that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you give a hint to the other one,
Um,
or is it one you want to keep to your vest?
have you ever legally changed your name? There's going to be one question added to that, and it will be about um being more explicit about your birth certificate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It would save a lot of troubles, for sure.
It will save a lot of future troubles.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Just giving you guys a little foreshadowing.
yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Not to be mean against any person who feels a certain way, but that's a good question to ask.
Mhm.
So anybody else got something that they really enjoyed at Grand Lodge that they really liked?
The best thing of Grand Lodge for me this year was the fundraiser concert and having that opportunity to get together with a ton of brothers who were not of the local jurisdiction, the Waco area, but having the opportunity to get together with a bunch of folks who are not from this local area and and just give us all a spiffy, really spiffy opportunity to get together as brothers and just say, "Hey, man, I'm a brother. You're a brother. Let's get to know each other a little bit." That was super cool. That was the highlight of my Masonic weekend. Was at the concert at the backyard. I love that. I love that that we were able to come together with music, fun, fellowship, and just say, "Hey, bro, how you doing today?" And everybody get the opportunity to say, "This was a fun thing for me. This was a not so fun for me thing." It was a blast. It really was. It was super cool. That was the highlight of my weekend.
Always enjoy it
Was
too.
going to the backyard.
And it wasn't extremely cold like it has been in previous years. I mean, it was getting cold, but it wasn't extremely cold that night, and it was a very pleasant time. I had already had plans for later on that evening, or I would have stayed longer. But yeah, I always enjoy that, and I know that Josh enjoyed it too. I know his wife enjoyed it too, and everybody else from my lodge enjoyed it. In fact,
We were fortunate. We were fortunate enough to be only a block from the backyard where Airbnb was,
did
so I was able to walk
did
home.
she ever get a chance to meet Stony?
Yeah,
No.
well, yes, we met Stony
I was gonna
at
say if she didn't, then I would definitely do it for her next year.
no. There's a picture. We met Stony at the gala last night after they got done with their dinner. Stony had come over to the gala, so he was.
Good.
There was a
Yeah,
lot of people
you know,
starstruck by Stony.
having Stony as our new grand musician, that's
Yeah.
awesome, dude.
I want to say here should be the post. You say your grandmaster may be cool, but your grandmaster is not as cool as ours because we have Stony LaRue as our grand musician. You can't get any cooler than that.
Well,
Unless a
I'm gonna say that there's one way to get cooler, and you
Brad
get Brad
Paisley.
Paisley
Yeah.
to be your grand
Brad Pitt,
musician.
yes, I would agree.
That's the
Maybe
only way.
well, maybe Brad Paisley for next year with Duty.
But he's not Texan.
Yeah,
We can make him
he's Tennessee.
Texan.
Honorary Texan.
We'll get special dispensation. You're Texan, man. Yeah, come on.
You know,
Well,
yeah,
I'll be
no, we-
seeing
yeah,
some
we-
brothers
we-
from
show up
Tennessee
for
next
Grand Lodge.
in the next couple
Yes,
months.
as I tend
think-
to do with most celebrities that I meet, I met Stony outside the restroom, shook his hand, still knows the
I
fan.
do not need to know that. And you'll
Outside,
never
I
wash
said
it
outside,
again.
Not inside.
Was that
Did you
before?
wash your
Outside the
hands
door, not
before or
inside the door.
after?
Was he washed his hands or after?
I was outside the door. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
he'll know.
there's
Hey, Josh,
pictures.
I saw some guys who walked out of the bathroom at Grand Lodge who did the same thing, but they didn't wash their hands
Oh
no
my
matter
God.
what. So I was just like, oh gosh, let me go get some more hand sanitizer.
Man,
I
I
think
cannot
that's-
believe people don't do that. Guys, that's hygiene
actually-
101. Wash your hands. Stop doing that to your brothers.
I actually,
I
I
met
think
the
it was this
Brent-
weekend. This weekend, at some point, I walked in the restroom to relieve myself, and I heard this old man go, "I didn't piss in my hands," and he walked out the
Oh
door.
my gosh.
Oh God.
Yeah,
You didn't piss in the toilet either, did you?
Ugh.
who knows? I wasn't paying attention.
I,
But yes, there. I have a picture of my wife and Stony LaRue, which is pretty cool. Stony,
Okay.
if Stony watches this, I'm sorry, Stony. He did get a little old, but we're all old, so
so what's another excellent thing that happened that y'all enjoyed at Grand Lodge?
Well, I met a brother that I was raised in Richardson Lodge, 1214, and
Nice.
and I met, and he came, I think, about 2 or 3 years after I was raised, and anyway, it's the first time to see him in forever, and of course he's
Ooh.
aged Well, God, of course, I'm glad I haven't aged any little, but he had. But I tell you, it was so fantastic to see him. It was just,
Who?
I couldn't believe it. And his name is Larry Fitzgerald, and he cuts hair and everything. I was talking to somebody one of the breaks, and he was talking. He said, "Well, here's another Larry right here." She told me, "said Oh, I know you."
Are you,
Well,
are you
Very
talking
cool.
about,
I
are you
like
talking
about
about,
that.
are you talking about Larry Fairchild?
Uh, yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah.
No, the other Larry.
Are you, Sean? Are you at Richardson as well?
Yes, he's junior
Uh,
past master.
Of
Yeah.
Emphasis
Richardson
on junior.
or Washington?
I'm the junior past master at Richardson 1214, and
And
I was
yes,
there. I was the Centennial Master.
yeah. Well, I've got to come up there and see y'all. It's been a long time since I've been there, so I'm going.
I know. I almost burned down the lodge, but that's another story.
Yeah,
Uh,
you almost did
Completely.
a lot of things
But-
during your years.
Did y'all like the guy from Grand Lodge of Iowa who did that 1 hour carving contest?
He was a junior deacon, and yes, it was amazing.
It was
I
only
was-
30 minutes.
I could
was-
have I could have stood for 15 minutes of that, but it was cool. But I wish it was quicker.
yeah.
Here-
I'm gonna hold my tongue.
You know
on
what?
that one.
You know what was cool about that though is getting that piece of stone into the hands of the most junior
Young-
master
yeah.
mason.
He was raised last
That-
Thursday. I
Like-
saw. I heard.
Yeah, Tuesday.
I get it, but that's
before-
also kind of. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. That's also kind of bullshit too. It's like, huh, you're the youngest master mason. Come get this 50-pound stone off the stage.
I
and go to
know
your
it
car.
was just looking for the labor. That's
I
what
hope
that
you didn't come in a
was.
Prius. I'm just saying, because if you did, it's not gonna wait. I mean,
What was also really cool was the cornerstone that was given to the Grand Secretary,
Yeah, that was cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was
given to the Grand Secretary for his office, not the museum and library. I'm going to point that
That's
out.
right.
Yeah.
It's
cool.
good.
Now,
And the Grand
not gonna happen,
Secretary
right?
made sure it was in his office. So that was gifted to him to his office to guard.
Wonderful. That's and
Really
we're gonna
cool.
save that discussion about the library and museum because there's more to come on
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
we're
trying
not
to
gonna
trying
talk
to
about
tread
that
lightly
tonight.
as best I
Nobody
could
is
there.
happy about that I
Nope.
know, and so we'll table that
Nope.
for tonight.
I
Can,
would
can I say one? My favorite for this weekend was actually
But
Thursday
you
night.
already said your favorite.
No,
So
I
now
didn't.
you're gonna
Well done,
change it. So
Byron.
now you're gonna kiss up a little bit. I see how you are.
No. My favorite was Thursday night, the 1928 hospitality room. That was freaking amazing. I had
You
so
mean
much fun
Wednesday
at that.
night?
Yeah, Wednesday night. Sorry.
So you won't be
I
getting
didn't
an
make one.
invitation to the dinner next year because you've mentioned the Friday night and the Wednesday night, but you have not mentioned my Thursday night dinner that was painstakingly difficult to put together for you guys.
And all I did was cry like a freaking baby at the Thursday night thing.
Thursday was great.
Thursday was great
Thursday-
till the end, Dennis. It ruined it for all of us. That's what happened.
Do what?
The end of Thursday night ruined it for all
Yeah,
of us.
it did.
That's what
It
happened.
kind of ruined my whole Grand Lodge. That's why I needed this
Well,
night tonight for
yeah.
you guys to tell me what you enjoyed about Grand
Why?
Lodge because I
What
had a
happened?
tough time.
What happened
No.
Thursday night?
Thursday night we had the inner circle dinner.
And
Oh,
Justin
Thursday
is
night-
coming on the podcast.
Thursday night, Justin Jones announced his retirement from Masonic Improvement, and so I am the
Guru
hostess,
of Masonic
the
Improvement.
hostess with the mostest, and
The guru for
that's-
Goliath.
that's how it's going to be for a while. Yeah. I remember when we first came on. I'm going to do an exit interview because when I first came on, before I came on, he did an interview with me. If y'all want to go back to see when this all started,
Way
talking
back.
about the well-rounded lodge, and so I'm going to do an exit interview with him coming up. I'm having my surgery on Tuesday, so I'm not sure how quickly I'll have that interview, but I will have that interview with him shortly. The exit interview. So hopefully it'll
Oh,
help everybody understand what the thought was behind it, and knowing that they're he and I are still best friends and love each other. It's just a matter of his kids are growing up, and he's been doing it a long time, and his family is needing him there right now. They're all, and he's got 3 of them, and they're all, you know,
I
6 to 11. So it's
6, 7. I understand. I mean,
yeah,
I get it.
it's a big time in his life, and his wife needs him most especially.
Yeah.
well, and it was difficult.
Yeah,
It really was difficult listening to Justin say, "I love you guys, but I'm gone."
man,
Um,
I almost started
uh,
crying. I almost started crying.
it was super hard, you know, because I love you guys. I love you. I love Justin. I love hell every member of the inner circle. Jason and Daniel and Josh are my primary guys, because y'all are the ones that are here all the time from when I started coming on. But you know, to hear Justin go effective immediately, oh brother, that hurt.
Yeah, he and I had been talking about it for a while, and we decided that we would make the announcement at the dinner. And I asked him before we started. I said, "Are you sure tonight's the night?" He said, "Yeah, I'm just gonna have to do it." I said, "Okay."
The
And
rest of the
And
band
I
is off.
get it.
and that bastard had it all written out, and here I am, you know, trying to shoot from the hip on what to say, and I just wanted to cry the whole time.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to ad lib your ass off when one of the guys that has been a very integral part of what has been built here says effective immediately.
No.
Yeah,
I'm not here.
Hmm.
And yeah, that hurt.
yeah,
I
he's
get it.
in
I
fact,
get it.
tonight I was trying to learn how to do all this live show business, and I still don't have the ins and outs done. I can only hope that it turned out okay, you know, because I'm not hooked up to YouTube to see what's going on. I was watching some of the uh, some of the conversations earlier, but it looks like they've died off some. So, what's uh what's another good thing that you enjoyed about? I really enjoyed. I ended up um because I was in a funk this weekend. I ended up not going to the installation. I uh, I went to the hotel and just took a nap. But
I,
but
I wish I would.
I really did like the installation. I watched it on the way home tonight today, and
Yeah, it was definitely different.
yeah, I usually stay for them. I do. I was just
It
having too hard of
was
a time this week.
when we saluted my grandmaster. I could just look at my wife and I said, just don't. Because the question was, you're like, what are y'all doing? I'm like, just I don't know. We're following and using right now, so just quit. But it was definitely interesting installation.
Yeah.
So
But
hang
good.
on. I got one. I got a question, because I have the coin right here in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can get this to show up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the other side.
Yep.
Yep.
What does that mean?
It's a keystone with the 47th problem in Euclid,
Yeah.
and uh, and it looks like.
I
Are you
can.
talking about the bullseye? Are you talking about the bullseye in the middle?
Yeah,
It's a bullseye.
but
Make sure you hit masonry right in the center.
Yeah.
okay,
I'm
because
just
this
Yeah,
is.
I'm,
that's
That,
the
I mean,
it's
that's
the
from me
heart of
saying try
masonry.
me.
I love the skull. and the trowel and the knife, that's super cool. But
If you're a
Yeah.
Scottish Rite
this,
Mason, you'd know what that.
well,
What that?
but I'm not a Scottish Rite Mason. You know as well as anyone, I'm a Blue Lodge guy, and that's all I'm gonna be.
Well,
Well,
it,
But
I'm a math
that's
teacher.
freaking cool.
So
I'm a
that's a
reg-
key. That's a keystone. You'll learn about in York Rite if you ever take that.
Nope.
Okay.
No,
the but that's in reference to rebuilding the temple and
Mhm.
okay.
and being attacked and having to have a sword in one hand and a trowel in the other to protect yourself, but then you're still spreading the cement at the same
Okay.
time. That's part of the 15th degree.
But I was having trouble with the 3 lines that go up that look like
That's
rays to the
that's
target.
that's part of the proof, the theorem. And I'm a retired math teacher, and I would
Oh.
say he actually drawn wrong. He has both
Oh,
angles on the side are the same, and
You
they're
don't want
not
to say you don't want to say that to the Grandmaster, but you're
I
probably
wouldn't,
right.
I would.
Larry, I wouldn't tell that to him.
okay.
Well, but if that's
Tell
the
you.
47th problem of Euclid versus
read
the
it.
27th problem of Euclid,
Yeah, it's the 47th, and it should be different. I think Larry's correct.
But that's okay. I mean, he makes the point, and I love it because I love anytime there's math. I love it. I love
There
it.
you
I
go.
love it.
Yes.
And-
Byron.
Yes,
and
the
I
most
believe it's
partial
a-
definitely does have some cool merch this year.
Yeah.
yeah,
you can
he
see.
does. And I am so stoked. I kind of wish I had been asked to be a DDGM again this year,
Ah,
but that was not to be in the fates for me. But oh man, I am absolutely digging the imagery that our
Yeah.
current Grand Master has chosen, and I love them all. And and I've told him I dig the hell out of your new coins, and his first response to me was, "I'll sell you one," and I'm
His-
Oh, yeah.
okay with buying them.
Um,
Actually, I bought 5.
his
And-
So-
pin, I'm gonna say, is in my personal opinion, too simple. I love the cutout. I really do. I wish there was something inside Texas, like another square and compass or something, or like a star. It just seems a little too plain. But again, my pin when I was Worshipful Master was also plain.
Y'all have heard it here
Okay.
first, guys. Sean Rothberg's exit out of Freemasonry as he talks bad about the Grandmaster's pin. No, just kidding.
Yep. Charges. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna say something.
What the hell is
I'm pretty excited for this year. I think I've told a few of you guys, but now I can say it in public. I have been asked and certified to be the DCO for District 36, which
Right
I think
on.
is pretty cool
Congratulations.
Congrats.
because I get to serve alongside our DDGM for District 36, my friend and brother Roy Burris, who is going to be our DDGM for District 36, and we have big plans for this year. So I think it's super cool.
Good. I'll turn over all
Um,
the websites in District 36 to you so I don't have to mess with them.
Where's
Dude, I already
District
have them,
36?
so don't worry about it. But they're good thing, great
you
things
need
are
to
coming.
work on
so I
them.
mean, dude, I know. We need to hire somebody to do it.
Where's
yeah, I
District
think it's-
36?
District 36 is down south here in Goliad, Victoria, Edna, Port Lavaca, and Cameron. Yes, those are the 5 lodges we have.
Wait,
So
Cameron?
Cameron Lodge,
In Yorktown.
which is in
Cameron.
Yorktown,
Oh, okay. Never mind.
not Cameron, Texas. Yes, I get confused all the time myself, Byron.
I do too, because I was just there like last week.
So yeah, I did my first official appointment. So I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a pretty fun one to have too, because you get to stay involved in everything and make sure that everybody else knows about everything. That's important,
yes, I have,
and
in
using
which
every
I don't
source
know.
of media.
Yes, and yes, we're definitely, and I don't know if, I mean, I've got a Facebook group made, I've got email set up and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty
Well, and
cool.
DCO, I feel like is one of those really underrated jobs. You have the opportunity as a district communications officer to truly affect what's going on within your district.
If
More
you're
so
doing
than
your
a
job, you
DDGM.
definitely do.
More so than a district instructor, you really have the opportunity to say, "Hey, boys, here's what's going on in our
Yep.
district." For whatever time frame you want to choose, and I love that. I think that's terrific, Josh. I'm super stoked for you, brother.
I'm all about it. I mean, and I've seen different ways and different things that people have done. So I've got my own. I mean, you can't just rely on one form of communication. I mean, we're talking about social media earlier. We got
Yeah.
social media, email, Zoom. We got the app, right, and all sorts of stuff that we can
Yeah, you
utilize.
need to
So
use all of them. Yeah, because
yes,
people
Yeah,
don't.
exactly.
People don't, and you
Instagram,
need to.
X, all of that stuff. That needs to be something that's all on your mind.
Yeah, there was quite a few things that went out today to different people were like, okay, here's what we're gonna do now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the year. And my brother Roy has decided that we are going to travel across this great state of Texas. So we have a lot of plans to go different places and do
Yeah, you
different
definitely
things.
need to. That's the one thing
I'm
that
gonna
I recommend to anyone and everyone that's doing that's serving the Grand Lodge of Texas is enjoy the year and be it. I got you next, Larry, and go to every event that is humanly possible for you,
yeah.
and just enjoy the experience with the Grandmaster, because
So I'm gonna
it's
start
a
a GoFundMe for gas. So
nope.
I'm just saying.
Now you get to learn. Now you get to learn the true cost of service. What you
Well,
got, Larry?
thank God the gas is going down.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Oh, well, how do you uh, get to become a district deputy grandmaster?
Typically,
There's
what
only
happens?
four.
Typically, what happens is that the Grandmaster relies on his team when people start making themselves available to be Grand Junior Warden. They've already established a team, and that team will assist in reaching out to different people throughout the state that know who the active members are within the districts. And so it usually comes by recommendation, but a lot of times some grandmasters will make those decisions on their own as far as who they want ahead of time without recommendation. So it just depends, really.
Well, there's only four lodges in our district, and used to, and it hadn't been that long ago that they would rotate. And but now it's either Lorena or M. Stadford. I forget what their name is. It's Lorena and Crawford. It's either one of those twos. And little Eddie and poor old Booty is they never pick us. So I just wondered. That's okay. That's okay. I'm not saying
Don't no no don't feel bad, and don't dismiss your Bruceville Eddie Lodge, or what was the other one?
um, well, it was Crawford. It's a big lodge.
Crawford and
M. Stan-
M. Denton Stanford don't
yeah,
count.
yeah.
What were the other two?
Moody, ZS Tig Moody Lodge and Moody.
And
And there's Eddie, and then
okay,
there's in Stanford. Uh,
so don't if that's one of your goals to become a DDGM or have a DDGM out of one of those two lodges that are not from Lorena or Crawford, don't give it up. You just have to get with your current DDGM and
Mhm.
say, hey, we have 2 other lodges in this district.
Well, it's
yeah.
not just well. Wait a second. That's not true. That's because it's not about telling the current DDGM. The guys are chosen based off of people who are active in their areas. The grandmasters aren't going to want somebody that's not active in their area. If there's somebody that ends up being installed as a DDGM that wasn't active in their area, it was simply by fluke, because grandmasters want people who are active and willing to travel and are well liked by most of the people in their district. So the more you make yourself, the more you travel and get to know the people in the grand lines, the more opportunity you're going to have. When you travel to the different historical events that happen, like in Gonzales and stuff like that, then
Yep.
that's your opportunity to get to know people and 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 let them get to know you, because then you will be on their mind when it comes time for the next Grand Master, because the people who are serving on these teams, they typically serve in multiple teams, and so it's all interconnected and they all talk to each other as far as helping in getting those processes done. But you, you it's not about telling somebody you want to be it. It's about being a servant
Yeah.
leader already. They pick the guy that they believe will do the job well. It's kind of like Byron. His area is Podunkville, but
Yeah.
they knew he would do the job. That's why they chose him. It wasn't because he had expressed interest in doing it. It was because somebody else told them that he would do the job that needed to be done.
Well, I
I
appreciate that.
guarantee you that.
Yeah, I already go to all the meetings, all the lodges, and I think thankfully they're not on the same night, so you can go around and
Yeah, that happens a lot in our area too.
I'm plan on go to the two events that's coming up. I haven't really been doing too many of the like the fested board or things like that, but I plan on going to
Yeah, you
those.
got to try it. You got to try it because
Soak in the
that's
knowledge.
yes,
So
and that's where you make your friends. It's just like with our Masonic Improvement dinner, like I was telling everybody there. The reason I wanted to do that in the first place was so that our inner circle members would have an opportunity to meet other people from around the state and to get to know them. And the reason why is for that reason right there that we're talking about, because a lot of the leaders from around the state happen to go to that dinner, and as you get to know people, then they'll remember you, and in those situations when it comes up, they'll say, oh, I know somebody from that district. I think you ought to think about this guy.
yeah,
So
appreciate it.
just
The
saying,
grand
that's and going to the galas and going to the grandmasters balls, all that kind of stuff, the conferences, all that stuff is important, and people don't realize the importance of those. you know they say, oh, it's a big dog and pony show. Well, it's not really. It's a good chance to get to know your brothers, and because they'll never know you if you're not going to those things.
Yeah.
does the Grand Junior Warden, so uh is Wilkerson should be already planning like who's going to be his DDGMs, his Grand Lodge officers now? Or would that be like when he's
That
Grand Senior Warden
that comes a
or
little bit later, but he's already got his team in place that's going to be tasked with those kind of things. So yeah, he'll have people that are going to be tasked with it, and they'll start the process already, but it won't be solidified until
Mhm.
they're Grand Senior Warden or really Deputy Grandmaster. That's when all things are are
okay. That's when the letters get sent out
during
to
Deputy
ask you.
Grandmaster years. That's when
Yeah.
letters go out. But
Yeah.
really, everything is pretty much planned at the end of the Grand Senior Warden year, or it's the structure is there,
Mhm.
but the plan itself isn't begun to be implemented until Deputy Grand Master. But the structure is there because if something were to happen to the Grand Master, the Deputy Grand Master would have
Yeah.
to jump into place, and he would need his team to be ready. But
Well,
yeah, the letters don't go out until the
July,
next
August.
year.
Yeah.
I can give an example. I had breakfast with our great and lovely brother Dave McCam this morning, and he said the cool thing is now that our right workful adjusted duties in that position, he can start actually doing a little bit more
Yeah,
planning.
you
and
have to
getting stuff
wait.
in line.
Yeah, you have to wait until the
Yeah.
time is right, or it looks like you're stepping on people's toes.
Yeah, you
Yep.
start getting ideas and put people in places, but now you actually get some backing behind
Get
it.
some traction. Yeah.
So I have a thing, and I'm raising my hand to indicate a complete change of subject.
Okay.
In our inner circle, we're spread around the state, but we're still, unless I am mistaken, we're still pretty much in this Texas triangle. Is there anybody here besides Larry Parnham who is not in that Texas triangle?
Texas Triangle.
DFW, Austin, San Antonio, Houston. That's the triangle.
You know, I've never heard it called
That's
that.
not a triangle, but but I know what you're
It
saying.
is a triangle. Yeah.
We're way south of that triangle. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
Josh.
outside of it.
Josh, you and Dennis both are.
Yeah, we're south, and we're getting the Laredo trapezoid is what we're doing.
That's what I was
Uh,
thinking. Is we're
With
more
the
like a
valley and all
trapezoid.
that. And
Well, what I was thinking, and I'm just gonna throw this out there for consideration. I'm not asking for anything to be done at this moment, but how much fun would it be to, as inner circle members, blast off, get outside of that triangle, maybe put together trips,
oh, man,
Figure out a way to-
we're outside the trapezoid.
figure out
Triangle,
figure
so
out a
come
way
go then.
to figure out a way to travel to, oh, I don't know, Amarillo, El Paso, Brownsville, Orange.
I would say if you want to do that, I would recommend to look at the Grand Master schedule and plan it that way. Plan it
I would first
accordingly.
ask, why would anyone want to go to Amarillo?
You could go there
Because
by
it's
morning.
still Texas.
Is it? I know,
Well,
but
Well, I
That's
have
a long
nephews
Amarillo
drive.
live
has
there.
some fun stuff.
Josh, you can get to Amarillo by morning.
I cannot. I've tried it. I cannot.
I can.
You
You-
can get there
okay,
by
you didn't
morning
get-
if you leave
If
at
I can
midnight.
if I can get to Santa Fe in one day, I can get to Amarillo because I have
Okay,
to go
has
through.
You
anyone
drive,
heard
I
that song?
sleep. That's what's going to happen. No. I've
I'm
been,
just saying,
I don't.
we
I-
had a little fun bit for Grand Lodge this year to find the oldest DDGM apron. Maybe for next year, for the entire damn year, maybe a little something something to commemorate the guy who, from the inner circle, hits the most remote parts of this state. One of the things that I heard over and over again this year at Grand Lodge Communication was that the guys from Amarillo and El Paso and Brownsville, actually, we didn't hear it from Brownsville because I don't think they sent anybody. But we heard from Amarillo and we heard from El Paso. Y'all don't come to us. Y'all don't do anything for us. Let's go to them. Let's figure out a way to do something for them. I'm not saying do it right now.
like I said,
I'm
if I
saying this
it,
is something worth consideration.
I don't mind doing that, but I would want to do it during the Grandmasters conference and stuff when there's a bigger event that makes it
Yeah.
more palatable because
Unless I can get a hold
because
of,
we
unless
can't
I
do
get a
it
hold of Tommy Norris with his plane and everything.
because
Right.
we can't do it except for on a weekend in most cases, and so you want to do it when they're going to be planning something on a weekend, which would be during a Grandmaster conference or something of that nature. So I would say sure, let's plan on doing that in 2027.
Yeah,
I've got
I-
a
All right.
I've got surgeries coming. I've got surgery coming up,
Yeah.
and other things I've got to deal with. Um, and I'm
Yeah, because I
traveling.
was going to say, I
Most
don't
of
know
my
if you've seen
traveling this year is up in North Texas, except for when I go to New Mexico and the Philippines.
I was going to say, I don't know who's seen the Grandmaster calendar so far. I have looked at it and seen it, and a lot of it is between now and June at the gala in
Right.
Dallas,
It always
and then
is.
it kind of trickles off after that.
Yep, it
But
always
it's
is.
hot and heavy between.
That's why you need to plan originally. And I would say one of the events, if you really want to get down to brass tacks, one of the events that I would love to show up for as Inner Circle is the official visit of the Grand Master to Holland Lodge. That's one of the events that's always fun to
But
go
that's
to.
like that's seriously, what is that? 2-3 weeks away?
Yeah,
No, that's actually on Wednesday.
that's on Wednesday. They usually do it the very next week of after Grand Lodge.
I think
I
Rigger
can't
was the
do it.
only one that didn't.
I mean, okay, I'm not gonna say the Inner Circle shouldn't do it, but I can't because Mama gets new boobies on Thursday.
I'm talking about next year, Byron.
Oh,
I
next year.
just said we're not doing anything this
talking
year.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about
No,
next
Mama.
year.
Okay, so going back to what I said, Mama has surgery on Thursday this coming week.
I've got
And I'm gonna
surgery
ask.
on Tuesday, and I say we pray for everybody because we all need it
Yeah.
right now.
So we're all gonna pray for you, Dennis, because God knows you need them.
Well,
But
and, but
I'm gonna
it's
ask
not.
for some prayers for my wife as well.
Yeah, my mother-in-law is actually going through the same thing right now as your wife. She not to the extreme that your wife is, but she just had a lumpectomy and she's supposed to find out the results of all that on Wednesday, I think. It was supposed to be Tuesday, but I think they delayed it until Wednesday because of my surgery.
Well, and
But they think
you
they
know,
got it all.
your mother-in-law is gonna be in my prayers
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure. Well,
But I'll need you to send me her name.
I will. We are ready to wrap this up. So who's
Yep.
going to give their final thoughts first?
I'll go if you don't mind. I had a great time this year at Grand Lodge Communication. I got to fellowship with brothers I don't get to fellowship with. I got to meet new brothers. I got to become a DCO appointed, which is cool for me. And we just had a great time. We got to see everybody. I thought it was great. I look forward to seeing everybody else down the road for everything, but I look forward to the upcoming year. I think we're going to have a great year under Most Worshipful Jim Rumsey, and I look forward to what the future holds for Masonry.
That's a good one. Mueller.
I heard my our current worshipful master from my lodge say this. Who was we were together a lot this weekend, and he said the annual communication is the best time to see all those brothers that you've met across all the different travels you've done at the state, and they all come together, and you get to see everybody at one time. And if you're out there traveling, you're gonna make connections. You're gonna see these guys, and then you're gonna see them in Waco in January, and it is really cool. And I ran into two guys at Bucky's today on the drive home. I ran into somebody else somewhere else, somebody else somewhere else, even at the hotel, right? Sitting at the hotel eating breakfast, met two different guys. Today, met a guy yesterday, met a guy the day before that. And one of the guys says, "How do you know I'm a Mason?" I said, "Because you're wearing a suit coat in a hotel on Thursday morning."
Yes,
You know,
that's funny.
and you have a ring on. You know, but it's like it's just one of those deals. It's like, who does that? But you get to meet these people, and then every time you go, you get to see them again. I didn't get to go last year; I was really sick. But the year before that, that was my first time. It was amazing. This year, even better. Next year, going to be even better, right? Because those circles, it's not just the inner circle of here at Masonic Improvement, but that circle gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You get to meet more people and you see them, especially as we travel around throughout the state, throughout the year, getting to know all those guys and then seeing them again. But, to me, super big highlight, the Masonic Improvement Dinner. Man, I was so bummed out. I missed it last year. The first year, I was scared. Dennis, I was scared. You're talking Diamondbacks up, man. I was like, for those who don't know, it's an expensive dinner, but it's not and maybe it's the most expensive dinner in Waco, but it's not the most expensive dinner I've ever been to. But with that being said, worth every penny of it because the discussion we were able to have, the unity, just being able to have that behind closed doors and have that wonderful moment, amazing experience. Took my wife with me this year. She was super happy. We went, hey, let's do the backyard. Let's do this. Let's do that. Went to the grand annual communication gala. That was amazing. I am so hopeful they do that again next year. They rented out an entire hotel. For those who don't know, who didn't go because they went home early on Saturday, we had the entire 1828 hotel or 1928 hotel, the entire hotel just for the Masons. It was amazing.
It's
It
amazing.
was so cool. Free reign of the entire hotel. The entire restaurant was shut down just for us. The upstairs patio just for us. The library just for us. And I don't think people understood that that's what it was. And it was, I mean, my wife's work, they charge $1,000 a plate for their gala. You know, it's not cheap normally. And it was $27 to get my wife in. And I was free because we stayed at one of the preferred hotels. Amazing time. So look forward to it. Look forward to it every year. Look forward to it next year already, brothers. Thank y'all for being on and thank y'all for all y'all do.
Awesome. That was a great one.
Well, I
Who's
guess I'll
gonna
be
follow
next.
that? Okay, go for it,
It's
Larry.
kind of hard to follow that, but again, I really enjoyed uh, the Grand Lodge. I usually don't go on Thursday, but I did went to the Thursday, and I loved seeing all those the folks coming in and different folks giving their remarks and so forth. The pomp and everything that was really nice. Enjoyed that, and I stayed for the installation. I'll probably do that next time, but I didn't go to the ball, the grand, what do you call it, after
gala?
grand.
Mhm.
But maybe I can do that next time. It just depends on how much it costs and how my funds are. But anyway, enjoyed it. And I enjoyed the talking to everybody here, and can't wait till next Sunday. I was surprised you had one here. I thought maybe you'd be tired and just said I just can't do tonight. With you have to do all it yourself. So
If
anyway,
Justin was here to tell you, he would tell you that I'm really a driving force when it comes to this show. So yeah.
thank you. Do a good job.
What you got, Sean?
Um, I was glad this time I stayed at a hotel and not the Airbnb because I am an introvert at heart. Um, but it was nice being able to go when I want and and just like when you stay at a hotel, you get to go down to the lobby. I stayed at a very expensive hotel for some reason. And but when I'm sitting at the bar, I saw people with there are other Masons, and it was nice to just sit, have a drink, get a little tipsy, or in my words, a little shickered, and be able to talk and get to say a few things. It was also nice as a past master to be able to vote on myself and not based on the lodge. Um, if the lodge wanted someone last year, I voted for that person. This time, I did the whole you're holding and you're just You don't want to see people see who you vote for.
I wanted everybody to
Um,
see what I voted for, so they'd do the same.
yeah, I
Just
know.
go ahead.
But this time, I actually had more fun outside uh the lodge and just talking with people along that whole line. Uh, just meeting people, and I think that's what you go for. I wish I went to the galas. I wish I went to those events, but I got a little stomach flu Friday night, so I didn't go out. But that's what it is. You're going there not really to vote for the resolutions, unless you want to bitch about them on stage. You go to meet the people, run up to someone and say, "Hey, nice seeing you in person away from Facebook." That's really what it is. You're seeing people face to face. And next year, God willing, I'll go to the backyard bar and maybe stay for our installation, but it was nice. And on my way home, I did see a few people driving with the square and compass on their car. So, but they were too busy listening to probably Stony LaRue and didn't hear me honking. So
Well, they
anyway,
were thinking
have a
that
good night,
crazy guy is
brothers.
honking at us.
Have a
Get
good night,
away.
brother.
Take care. Thank you. What you got, Byron? You're muted.
You're on mute, buddy.
All right, there we go. So, yeah, the fun bits for me this weekend were absolutely, as Sean said, the fellowship. Getting to hug Kadeem, Dion,
Yep.
uh, Blanco Bob, a dozen guys that I only ever get to see on the face crack, and to
It's
connect
called the
to
Book
all
of
those people.
Faces and Good Night.
Yeah, getting to see and hug Jeff and Mason Messer. Um, I got to physically connect with a bunch of guys that I never get to see in person. That was the fun for me. You know, I had I wound up sitting by myself for all of the resolutions and stuff like that. But outside at the hospitality rooms, at the concert, those were the moments for me. Uh, Getting to connect with guys that I have never met before. Um, Randall and his wife, and Ryan Durker and his wife, Robert Marshall. Getting to see these guys that I love and respect and have had love and respect for a number of years, and just getting to literally press flesh with them and say, "Hey, man, I see you. I love you, and I respect you." That was the highlight for me this weekend. That is the true blessing that is grand annual communication.
Agreed.
That's all I got.
That's a good one. What you got, Jason?
Just to take a little bit of a detour, because I know some of you and those of you out there watching saw that the Texas Esoteric Summit was officially canceled. And yeah, it's disappointing. It was going to be a good event, I think. We had some pretty good speakers. Um, Actually, some fantastic speakers coming in, but the way part of the way I look at it is it was kind of a victim of our success, not only with with the guys on this podcast, but at least the guys that I know in the San Antonio area who have been pushing for Masonic education, and I think that influence has spread. And so you look week to week, and you'll see numerous lodges out there providing some sort of education out there. So to ask guys to travel, spend $130 for something that they may already be getting in their local lodges or in local summits or conferences in their area. Grand Lodge of Texas has added OLT 301 specifically for that reason. And so I you know it's it was disappointing, but also at the same time, like um I kind of look at it as a little bit of a little bit of a silver lining in that it was probably starting to enter a crowded marketplace, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It was competing with a lot of other things that were going on, and ultimately that's a good thing. That we're just seeing so much more education out there than we saw, even I would even say 2 years ago. Um, but for certain 5 years ago, when I first was really kind of joining different organizations and traveling around and stuff like that, um you're just seeing so much more of it, and it's I am going to take a positive away from it, um mainly just for my own for my own self-esteem. But beyond that, and anyway, that was just kind of my final thought out there. So.
That's a good thought, really, because you are right that people are not starving as badly for education as they were 5 years ago, and that is something to be proud of, because you've been at the forefront of that, um, as well, and as several people throughout the state, and we've been working hard to do that, and that's awesome. I'm I think that is a positive note to think about. Um, this for the past, oh gosh, couple months, it's been kind of hard for me, and it kind of bled into Grand Lodge for me this year. I always loved Grand Lodge, always, and I loved it this year. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't enjoy the extrovert type of things that I usually enjoy as much, because of how I've been feeling kind of internally. And but I did enjoy the introverted stuff even more. Um, getting to hang out with brothers like, Jason, and of course Brad Kohanke. He comes down for it, and I spend as much time with him as I can. I got to hang out with him and Larry Fitzpatrick, and visited with John Tolbert for a while, and it's just those are the guys that I don't get to see very often, and I get to see them during that time. And it's not just talking about Freemasonry either. You know, Brad and I spent a night, just talking about our families and our lives and how things are going, and stuff like that. And here at Masonic Improvement, we talk about Freemasonry a lot, but that social aspect is important, and getting to know people is important, because after a while you get to know each other's families, and you have um, opportunities to learn and grow through that as well. My favorite part about Grand Lodge this year was the feeling of pride for Most Worshipful Rumsey, because there were some ups and downs to get here, and I know that all of you guys know that we were always in support of Most Worshipful through all of it, and made our points very clear on that. And so it's very nice seeing what's happened, because it's going to be a great year for a lot of people. You know, people are going to get to experience the Freemasonry that that I try to provide, that we've tried to provide through Masonic Improvement. Basically thinking a little bit more about ourselves, and feeling a little bit more pride in ourselves as a community of Freemasons, and not feeling like we're dying on the vine, or that we're just full of a bunch of good old boys. You know, and I come from a good old boy community, and I am one. But I think that Freemasonry is a lot more than that, and we tend to let our outside affect our inside a little too much. And I think that this year we're going to get to see a different side of Freemasonry that we hadn't seen in a while. And I'm excited for that. I was real happy to see all you brothers there this week. I really enjoyed the dinner. It's always the highlight of my year. It's the type of environment that I want to experience for my Freemasonry, and I'm glad that you are able to experience it with me in that environment at Grand Lodge. And there will be another dinner next year. I'll announce it right now that I've already spoken to the owner, and that will happen again next year. So come hell or high water, there will be a Inner Circle dinner at Diamondbacks on the Thursday night of Grand Lodge next year too. It's kind of sad that Justin's not here tonight, but I certainly understand and can appreciate the fact that he puts so much emphasis on his family and cares so much about who he is as a person, that he hasn't gotten lost in this thing called Freemasonry. So I'm really excited for him in this next part of his journey, and I'm really excited for us in this part of our next journey with Masonic Improvement. I've got a lot of plans for the coming months, and in fact, I'm going to share those with y'all after this show. So I'm going to leave that there and tell all of you that don't forget, there is a festive board at Hillcrest on the 20th, and there's the summit on the 21st in February, and it's going to be a great time. I will be at both. I'll be attending the festive board, and I'll be speaking at the summit for Mercury Lodge. And I recommend that all of you come out and join me. And I think that's a great idea, Byron. Next year, I want to plan that we all meet up at some of the Grandmasters events next year. If we're going to meet up somewhere, let's do it there, so that there's going to be more people and more opportunities for our inner circle to meet brothers from around the state. So I guess that's about it for tonight. I really don't know what else to say except for that I love you, brothers, and I appreciate you being on here. I appreciate all you guys that are there listening. I hadn't figured out all this stuff yet, so I don't know how to watch the chat while I'm doing this. I'll get there, and that way I can respond to some messages on YouTube. But I'm also going to have a couple of guys doing that for me as well. I think some moderators to help out with that, so that it can be more interactive. That's one of my goals, is to for us to reach things that interest the viewers, and to talk about things that interest the viewers, and be more accessible to the viewers at the same time during our lives. So not only do I plan to have other means of communication, I also plan to be more accessible to those that are watching the lives that may not be Inner Circle members. So, anyways, all that being said, thank you, brothers, for being part of my journey. I hope that I'm able to be some kind of a positive influence on your journey. If you like us, subscribe. If you love us, join the Inner Circle. There's great benefits to it now, like watching things ad-free, but there are even more benefits to come. So, brothers, thank you, and keep it between the points.